All right, red zone number 7. It's all about finding the slope of a line, a huge topic in 9th and 10th grade. So really make sure that you can do this. If you can't, take all this time you have at home, do something, watch some videos, reach out to your teachers, reach out to your friends. Here we go. Select the equation that could represent the line, circle all that apply, which means there's probably more than one answer. The first thing I notice is this line goes through the origin, which means the y-intercept is 0, which eliminates choice D and E. The second thing I notice is that there's a positive slope, which eliminates choice B. We don't know exactly what the slope is, so it could be A, it could be C, we don't know. Find the slope of the line that passes through these points. Well, that would be the slope formula that we've talked about before. So 8 minus 5 over 4 minus negative 2 is 3 over 6, or 1/2. We usually like to leave our slopes as a fraction because when we go to a graph, it's good to have a rise and a run, because remember that slope is rise over run. But technically 0.5 is correct. But if you need to put this on a graph, leave it as a fraction. So here's 2 points that are on a graph. Which point also lies on that graph? So there's a lot of different ways we can do this. The easiest way for me to know if a point is on the same line as 2 other points is to use the slope. So the first thing I'm going to do is find the slope using the slope formula. 13 minus negative 2 over negative 4 minus 2 is 15 over negative 6, which can be simplified to negative 5 over 2. So now I just have to go through these points and do the slope formula again and again until it gives me the same slope. So I'm going to start with the first point, and I'm going to use this. So I'm going to do 18 minus negative 2 over negative 6 minus 2 is 20 over negative 8, which if I divide by 4 simplifies to negative 5 over 2. All right, we're done. That's the answer. You can find a graph and plot all these points and see which ones end up on the same line. You can make a table and do the jumps to follow a pattern, so you can write a bunch more points. There's a lot of different things you can do. Let me show you how to do it with the jumps, actually. Since I am here anyway, might as well. So let's get rid of this. We found the slope already, which is negative 5 over 2. We're going to use that, so I'm going to leave it there. So I'm going to make a table, x, y, and I'm going to start at negative 4, 13. And since the slope is negative 5 over 2, I know that the y values are going to go down 5, and the x values are going to go up 2. So that's going to go to negative 2. This is going to go to 8. So this coordinate is not a choice. So if negative 2 is a choice, that would be the answer, but it's not a choice. So we're going to go do the jumps again. That would go to 0. This goes to 3. That's not a choice. That's the y-intercept, just that's a fun fact. The next one would be 2, and keep going, negative 2, that's not a choice. 4, negative 7, that's not a choice. Let's go the other direction. So I'm going to go backwards, so negative 6 would be 18, and that's where our answer comes from. None of these other choices are going to come up on this table. A company performed power tests on a set of batteries. The company determined that the equation where x is the number of hours and y is the percent of battery remaining. They want to know what's the best prediction after 11 hours. So x is the number of hours. So I can just replace the x with the number 11. So 100 minus and then 8.9 times 11 is 97.9. So that equals 2.1%. The hypotenuses of these similar triangles, ABC and DFA, both lie on line K. A hypotenuse is the longest side of the right triangle. So if I had a right triangle, and here's my right angle, the diagonal side is the hypotenuse. So don't get confused by that word. They're just saying that this and this are both on line K. Demonstrate whether the slope of line K is constant between points C and D. Use the leg lengths of triangles ABC and DFA in your answer. All right, well, to find the slope of a line, we're going to do rise over run. So I notice that in this little triangle, the rise is 1 and the run is 3. So that's a slope of 1 over 3. And in this larger triangle, the rise is 2 and the run is 6. So that's a slope of 2 over 6, which simplifies to 1 over 3, which is the same thing. So just by looking at that, at the leg lengths, I can see that they have the same slope. So I can write that since the, oops, I'm going to move this here. Since the two triangles are similar, their leg lengths are proportional. And since the leg lengths represent the rise over run, the slope is going to remain constant. And you can see that with the work that we showed above, so that's enough of an explanation. Here's some values. What equation is this linear function? Remember, when you're looking for the equation of a line, you need two things. You need the slope and you need the y-intercept. So to find the slope, I'm going to do the jumps, or I could do the slope formula. 1.75 minus 1 over 0.5 minus 0.25, 0.75 over 0.25, which is 3. So the slope is 3. And then if I follow the pattern backwards until I get to 0, it's at 0.25. So y equals 3x plus 0.25. You need to identify one linear equation and one nonlinear equation. There's actually two of each, but if this kind of question comes up, don't do more work than you have to, because if you make a mistake somewhere, then you're going to lose points. So just do what they ask. So one linear equation, I would say, is equation 2. Why? Because it's in slope-intercept form. That's enough of a reason. Something is linear if it has a constant rate of change. So you can say that this equation, this one right here, is in slope-intercept form. Therefore, it has a constant rate of change. The other one that is also linear is equation 4, because you can rewrite that as y equals 1/2 x. The nonlinear equation is either 1 or 3, and it's because they don't have a constant rate of change. That's the mathematical reason. Something is linear if it has a constant rate of change. Something is nonlinear if it doesn't have a constant rate of change. But looking at the equations, equation 1 is nonlinear because the variable is an exponent, and equation 3 is nonlinear because the variable has an exponent of 2. Draw a line from each graph to its equation. So I can see in choice A that it has a positive slope and a y-intercept of 3, and the only one that has that information is this one down here. In graph B, it's a negative slope and a y-intercept of positive 1, so that would be this one up here. And this one has a negative slope and a y-intercept of -3, which would be that one there. And that's it. So again, please make sure you're putting in your full effort. This whole thing couldn't be taking you guys more than 15 minutes. So, and we're giving you sometimes 2 days to do these. Reach out if you have questions. Otherwise, you're just going to fall behind when it comes to coming into 9th grade. Good luck. Have a good day.